Hello, everyone. Meteorologist Hutch Johnson. Coming up in this weather update, we're going to look way ahead in the future because there is a chance for the northern and central plains to see a more significant wintry impact as we go a little bit deeper into the month of November. No big surprise there, but I'll have the very latest in what you can expect. Your forecast is coming up right now.
Now, a Hutch's weather update with Chief Meteorologist Hutch Johnson, brought to you by Robert Gibb and Sons.
So wonderful to have you here. I hope you enjoyed your day today as we celebrated veterans. Veterans, thank you. Families of veterans, thank you for your sacrifice and service to this great nation. You are appreciated. Taking a look at the weather, what I've got loaded up here for you is a look ahead, way ahead. Big time changes are in the offing here in the northern plains. We're going to be quiet now, but the wind will be picking up in the northern plains. There's a system in the Pacific Northwest, and we also have an exiting system off along the east coast, basically moving off into the mid-Atlantic right now. However, the Great Lakes in upstate New York feeling the impacts of that right now. Let's take a look at this system as we set it into motion off the west coast. Now, as we head into Wednesday morning in the overnight, showers of rain will move out of the Rockies and push into the northern plains. This will bring a chance for some storms in the central plains, Kansas City, Omaha, Nebraska. And as we go farther south, there'll be some unsettled weather dialing its way up and toward the central and northern Gulf Coast states, quiet along the eastern third of the United States, but not that way in the Pacific Northwest. And this wave making its way into the Pacific Northwest will wreak havoc in the nation as we go through the remainder of, well, at least the middle of the month. Check this out. Now, as we put this into motion, you're going to see a chance of a couple of these showers of snow pushing their way out of places like Minneapolis and heading into the northern plains. Now, as we head toward the 20th of the month, though, look at this. We'll have some swirling north winds bringing a chance for snow to the northern plains and, as a matter of fact, the western Great Lakes region with this system here. Now, this is a long ways out, and models do not agree on the exact track of this weather wiggle or big hiccup in the forecast, but it does look like all models are showing somewhere between the 17th and the 21st, the central and northern plains being impacted by a fairly significant weather-making system. As we continue our trek through time, that system sits, spins, and decreases in intensity, but moving toward the east coast will be some rainfall from this system that could be beneficial there. If you're watching on any of my channels, I see Jake, joy to be. Hutch, what's up, Jake says. It's great to have you on board is what's up. Thanks for dropping me a line. Let me know where you're watching from on either of the channels here, and I really appreciate you smashing the subscribe button or the like button, no matter where you're watching. Checking in on my Facebook friends here watching. Brenda wants snow, and there's a chance, but we're going to have to wait a little bit farther. Nathan, good to have you on board. And Nathan, thank you for all your photos you've been uploading. You can do the same by going to hutchesweather.com. So that's a long-range look at this forecast model, but I do want to say that the American model that you saw back here is not the only one. I'm going to load up another quick comparison view here for you as we do some fun, elbows deep meteorology here. Now, the European model tends, in my professional opinion as a meteorologist here for the better part of 30 years, on these longer range forecasts, it's a little bit more consistent with the forecast. That doesn't mean it's always right, though. So keep that in mind. We'll still take it with a grain of salt. Here's our weather wiggle working through the central plains as we go through morning. There could be a few flakes mixing into places like Duluth, Minnesota, and the Arrowhead up there on the north shore of Lake Superior. Now, this next system works its way on and basically dissipates presently, but watch what happens as we give it just a little bit more time. Low pressure develops in the lee or the east side of the Rocky Mountains. That's going to bring some mountain snow that will work its way out into parts of Manitoba. See where this thing's coming from? Way down here, down by the desert southwest. This low pressure system and wave will be working its way off concurrently with one off the east coast, according to this model. And the European model still showing, look at this, very close to the 20th, right? That's what I was talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Now, we got isobars getting really, really friendly. When you get isobars that are friendly, that's not good for air motion, because what that means is the air gets in a it gets in a hurry. And when air's in a hurry, that means there's a chance for some wind combined with snow. When we combine wind with snow, it can bring some travel troubles as we head towards the 20th of the month. Now, look at this. That lower system bringing up the bottom there is also bringing a chance for the central plains to get some unsettled weather heading northward towards places like Minnesota, Wisconsin, and possibly even impacting the UP of Michigan as it goes through. That's as far out as this model goes. So that's 2 out of 3 or 4 models that I like to look at for the extended. How about the Canadian model real quick, just for fun and giggles and fun and laughery. Okay, that's another word for giggles, I guess. Let's see. We do have that little wet system making its way through midweek. A few flakes mixing into the north shore of Superior. That one, well, it agrees with the last couple of models we've seen. Here comes a wave out of the Rockies. Check the date, 17th. That wave works its way through and basically falls apart. But look at what's coming from the southwestern United States. Very similar to what we saw on the last model from the European. And that one parks itself in Colorado, Kansas, and look at this. Texas and parts of Oklahoma getting snow as it lifts its way northward. The track it takes northward will dictate who sees rain, sleet, snow. But 3 models, 3 showing a significant weather wave working its way through the west coast and the central plains and northern plains as we go close to around the 19th to the 20th of the month. If you have any questions on that, please drop a comment here in the comment zone, and I'd love to answer those for you. But for now, let's take a look at what's going on right now across this lower 48, because there is a pretty interesting thing to look at here. And pardon my wandering eyeballs. As we go towards midweek, number 1, I want to let you know that we do have a chance for some stronger thunderstorms down in the Gulf Coast states. So there is what we would call a marginal risk for some severe weather in places like the Mississippi Delta near New Orleans and parts of Mississippi. The rest of the nation, as far as thunderstorm chances go, pretty quiet indeedly doodly. Then as we take a look at some climate potential, that's right, we do have a chance for seeing some changes in that. So let's take a look here as we look at what we have going on with the climate prediction forecast for the 6 to 10-day window, okay? And we see a big-time chill out in the western half of the United States, all the way to the Rockies. Then you get on the eastern plains of the Rockies, and that half of the nation over the 6 to 10-day period is likely to see warmer than average weather, particularly when we see the bright reds. Where you see the deep blues, Los Angeles, Las Vegas, a great chance at seeing below average temperatures. Precipitation-wise, similarly, where that big wave of cold air works its way into the deep south, wetter weather as it exits into the more moisture-rich air of the central plains. So there'll be a better chance of some wet weather in the 6 to 10-day window there. But what about as we carry this precipitation out to the 2-week time frame, the 1 to 2 week time frame, 8 to 14 days? That wet weather spreads out of the central plains and into the Mississippi and Ohio River valleys, drier weather in the Pacific Northwest as they'll get a fall break here in the Northwest. Then cooler weather takes hold and continues for that 1 to 2 week period, 8 to 14 days from right now. And it looks like that cool weather will be focused right around Albuquerque, New Mexico, as we see the warm air shift just a little bit subtly off to the east, where the New England states will enjoy a chance at well above average temperatures as we go into that time period. So that is a look at that forecast. Now let's focus in on what's going on here in the northern plains over the next 24 hours. To do that, I'm going to zoom into the northern plains and talk about that weather wiggle that could bring some snow into Monday. Here's a very latest model run. This is a what we would call a mesoscale or a smaller scale model that has finer detail. So it'll give us a little better idea of the location of what is going to be transpiring as we go through the next 36-hour period. So here we go. As we head through the overnight hours, here's them isobars, and they get really friendly here. As you look at Jamestown, North Dakota, here's Fargo, North Dakota, if you're unfamiliar with its geography. Here's Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and Minneapolis. So the isobars getting close means very strong southerly wind, warming temperatures in the southern part of North Dakota and most of South Dakota for our day on Tuesday. But the wind will be ripping out there. Now, look at the low pressure developing as we head into the nighttime hours, and rain showers will spread out of the big sky country country of Montana heading into western North Dakota. As we let that continue to transpire, the low pressure system starts to intensify just a little bit, deepen we call it, and that'll bring a chance for some scattered light showers of rain. So the best chance of showers in places like Fargo or western Minnesota will be very late on your Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. But Wednesday morning, as this storm deepens and strengthens, the pressure drops. And when pressure drops, the temperature drops. When that happens, well, we increase the chance of some moisture with all that south flow digging into the Gulf of Mexico's pocket for a little bit of that moist air. Big Jordan, thank you so much for watching. I see Brian here. Hopefully no snow for Fargo. It doesn't look like it. That little valley effect does happen to have a little bit of an impact. Please, some snow. Hello. Hi. Good to see you, Serenity. Thanks for your vote for snow. Now, take a look at this. When we go into the Wednesday midday time frame, the models are showing that there'll be a chance for some flakes mixing in. If you're near Baudette, Lake of the Woods, International Falls, Minnesota, or anywhere in the Arrowhead, that's when we'll have the chance of some snow showers. Midday Wednesday into the early afternoon. So that's a look at that. Now, let's take a look at what's going on right now across the nation with regards to the radar. And we do have some strong showers and thunderstorms that are working their way across parts of the Gulf Coast right now, just south of Mobile. And here's the system that's working its way out of the Rockies and pushing through places like Boise. And in elevation near Boise, the radar is indicating a few flakes of, well, flaky goodness. Some wet weather, Tacoma, Portland, Vancouver, British Columbia. And again, thanks for joining on Hutch's Weather here. It's good to hear from you. Again, if you have a question, just please drop it down here in the comments section. Well, let me see here. It looks like Simon says, hey, and thinking for totals through Wednesday. This does not look like a super duper wet system, but as the model showed, that rain gets heavier on the Minnesota side of the river. North Dakota, the drought in effect. Minnesota, you're going to get some relief from drought conditions there, where we could see over 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 of an inch in a few places. The best chance of that will be in central Minnesota, behind Hutch's Big Melon over here. So the current radar shows this. Now, one thing I like to look at to show and highlight areas of the country and even our area of where the biggest weather changes are happening right now, we can draw our attention to the change in temperature. So let's take a look at that right now real quick. And we're going to look at the change in temperature over the last 24-hour period. Where you see the bright reds, that's a huge warm up. So if you're in Calgary, Alberta, there's been a huge warm up there. Things and folks in this area are really noticing how much warmer it was than yesterday at this time. And as you take a look at what's going on here over the Great Lakes, look at Fargo, Minneapolis, all the way up to Duluth, Superior, and wow, the North Shore. Big time cool down. How much of a cool down? It's just blue, Hutch. What's blue mean? Well, blue, that's 15 to 20 degrees cooler in many of these spots out here than it was yesterday at this time. So a significant cool down there. Along the East Coast and the Southeast, look at the effects of the cold front moving through Nashville, Knoxville, as well as Memphis and Jackson, Mississippi. Seeing a nice little burp of cooler, drier air, probably refreshing after it's been a very hot fall for many in parts of the South and South Central United States. So that's kind of one way to look at what's going on there. And your forecast for Fargo looks like this. Overnight, these temperatures here in the Red River Valley, here's Fargo, here's Grand Forks. We're looking at 35 to 40 degrees for morning temperatures, but look at the wind. Hold on to your hat first thing in the morning. And again, an extra pump of hairspray. What kind does Hutch recommend? Here's the big promotion. North Dakota Super Duper Hold Hairspray. It works not just one time, every time. It's like cement for the follicles. All right. Windy conditions, southeast wind. Coolest weather in the morning will be in central Minnesota, where we'll see some 20s behind my chair here. Other than that, milder weather in the Black Hills of South Dakota. Then for your afternoon on Tuesday, I'm expecting temperatures to rise to near 60 degrees in parts of and southern South Dakota. Southeast winds gust to 40 miles per hour or greater as that low pressure system makes its way in throughout the day. Those winds will be shifting from the west part of the state into the Red River Valley as we go to the afternoon, so keep that in mind. Again, super duper hold, the only way to go for your follicles on the head. Okay, 45 to 50 for most across the area until we focus over off into central parts of Minnesota. Temperatures there will have, well, a better shot at seeing only 40 degrees or so. And when you get up here into parts of the Arrowhead of Minnesota, it'll be cooler still. And there is your 7-day planner right there behind Hutch. 50 degrees on Tuesday, gusty winds. The showers of rain will be pushing off into Minnesota. It will be a wet Wednesday in the morning there, and some moderate to heavy rainfall briefly. After that, a nice rebound in temperatures, as we'll see a lot of places kissing 50 degrees. And after that, we cool off. That next weather system, as we approach the 20th, remember, Hutch will be watching it. Will you be watching Hutch? I hope so. All right, let's see if I've got any other questions here highlighted. Let me see. Hey, Simon says, Brad says a shout. 2 sons who are in the military, and howdy from Cullum. Brad, thanks to your sons for their service. Hi from Bemidji. Andrew says, hi from Elbow Lake, Grant County, checking in. And all right, good to see you. It looks like Brenda as well. Okay, there's Monday Night Football on. I guess I can get to that, and it's time to enjoy a quiet evening. And I hope you do too, because it won't be quiet all night as that wind picks up by morning. Be ready for it. Thanks for watching. Remember, all of you that have sent photos to hutchesweather.com, I appreciate each and every one of you. If you have photos of nature or weather, head over to hutchesweather.com. Scroll to the bottom of the page, and that's where you can upload your photos as well. Deborah Ball, thanks for joining. Glad to get my take on things, all things weather. It's good to have you joining me. Thank you all for joining me. And until next time, have yourself a wonderful evening, and thanks again, veterans.